By now, you've heard about Global Poker, one of the fastest growing online card rooms available in the US and Canada today. So what's stopping you from trying it out? Global Poker is a safe and secure social poker site that uses their own patented sweepstakes model. Signing up is easy. You can use Google, Facebook, or just an email address. You can always play for free on Global Poker, but you can also buy gold coins for additional play, which will earn sweeps coins that can be redeemed for real cash to a bank account, Skrill account, or even as a gift card. Get a free 5,000 gold coins when you sign up right now at globalpoker.com.
Poker Stories is an audio series that features casual interviews with some of the game's best players and personalities. Each episode highlights a well-known figure in the poker world and dives deep into their favorite tales, both on and off the felt.
Hello and welcome to Poker Stories, a podcast brought to you by Card Player, the poker authority, and hosted by me, Julio Rodriguez. This is episode number 128, featuring high-stakes poker pro Chris Brewer. Chris is 29 years old and is originally from San Diego, California. Growing up, he was a standout athlete and runner and was recruited to the 32-time national champion Oregon Ducks track and field team. It was at the Olympic trials that he first discovered poker, and by the time he graduated, Chris had a bankroll to take to the cash game tables. He worked his way up the limits, always with an eye on the biggest game in the room. He's never been afraid of the action and played as high as 1K, 2K, no-limit games online. In recent years, Chris has dedicated more time to the high roller circuit, where he has picked up 5 wins and millions in earnings. In 2021, Chris won more than $3 million while making 22 final tables and finishing 9th in the Card Player Player of the Year race. And that's all while he bubbled 6 high rollers with a buy-in of $100,000 or more, which is a topic that we did talk about. We also talked about Chris's shot taking as he moved up in stakes, the times he tilted Daniel Negreanu, and his near-death experience while in college. Anyway, that is enough intro. Here is my conversation with Chris Brewer. I am here with Chris Brewer. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, just hanging out in between some tournament series right now.
Right. And you also just had a birthday, right? You 28 or 29 now?
29. Yep. Yeah, birthday was 10 days ago. My niece actually, I have a 5-year-old niece who her birthday is 3 days before mine, so I took her to Disneyland, which ended up being like my own birthday thing too.
Oh, nice. A little 2-for-1 action there. Yeah, you're creeping up on 30. Is that scaring you at all?
A little, yeah. It feels like I'm getting older though.
Yeah, pretty soon you won't be the young gun on the tour anymore, right?
Yeah.
You'll be the wily veteran. All right, let's see if we can go back to the beginning, because on this show we like to talk about poker origin stories. But before we got into poker, you obviously doing a little bit of running, right? You were a distance runner from way back. Went to the University of Oregon, which of course is a powerhouse in the track and field business in college athletics. But you are from San Diego, right?
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about growing up in San Diego. What were you getting into back then?
I was like a super innocent kid growing up. I just did a ton of sports. I basically transitioned between so it was baseball, basketball, and soccer up until I was like in middle school, and then I stopped playing baseball and I just played soccer and basketball. And then both my dad was like a college water polo player, and my mom was like a good high school swimmer, and then she picked up like ultra marathon running and stuff after.
So there was always endurance in the family.
Yeah, so I was gonna say like running was always a thing. Like I knew I was good at running, like from the time I was like 6 or 7 or something. So it was always like, oh, I'll run in high school. And then when I got to high school, it's weird because I like always expected to be really good to be good at it. Like whether or not I should have, I don't know. But my first season went well. I was on like a team that won the San Diego section, and I remember my coach came up to me and was like, "Well, you won't make varsity in the other sports." So then I quit playing other sports and just focused on running from that point on.
The brutal truth, but it gets you pointed in the right direction, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean it's good advice. I think it's fun to do a lot of things, but it's hard to be excellent at something if you're like splitting your priorities.
Yeah, of course, right. So you're killing it in high school, and the time comes to decide on college. Did you have any thoughts about staying close to home, maybe UCLA, something like that, or was it Oregon all the way?
No, so UCLA has like a kind of when I was getting recruited, UCLA had some history of like having talented runners go there and not really do well, and I wanted and kind of believed I could make the Olympics coming out of high school. So I was trying to find like the main schools I was choosing between were Cal, Oregon, and Georgetown.
Oh, you're thinking about going back east, huh?
Yeah, no, I liked the Georgetown coach, and obviously it's great education and stuff. But when I went to Oregon, so the year I was getting recruited, they in the 1500 meter NCAA final, they went 1, 2, 3, and the guy that got second was like a guy from San Diego who like I had known since I was in like middle school. I had always kind of looked up to him because he was like a big San Diego runner. So it was just I was like pretty enamored when I stepped on campus. So once I took my visit to Oregon, I was pretty sure I was going to go there.
This is a program that has 32 national titles. I mean, so I'm sure they showed you the hardware, right?
Were pretty... I was, but the coach was, so my dad's from Massachusetts, and the coach at the time was this guy, Andy Powell. He's actually up at UW now, but he was from Massachusetts too, and the Patriots were playing. So like my visit, I remember I went over to his place, and we were just like watching the Patriots game, and he like opened this like random drawer, and it was probably, I don't know, 80 championship rings, because the Oregon men have no other schools ever won a Pac-12 title in track. So like those Pac-10 titles have been won, but since it's been the Pac-12, Oregon's won every single one.
That's quite a streak.
Yeah. So like he's just like pulling it out. He's like, oh, he was like 2005, he was 2006, 2007, etc.
And they just sit in a drawer now, huh?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like I have you only got a Pac-12 ring if you like competed in a final at Pac-12. So I have one ring, but like I just have it in a drawer somewhere. They're not really like good to wear.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing with poker bracelets, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool thing. You're happy you get it, but like, what do you actually? You're not gonna go walk around on day to day with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to talk a little bit about Oregon, the home of Steve Prefontaine and Nike. First of all, let's talk about Steve Prefontaine, because he's kind of like a mythical creature when it comes to Oregon track and field. Wait, first question: do you prefer the movie Without Limits with Billy Crudup or Prefontaine with Jared Leto? Because there were two movies about the guy.
Without Limits is a way better movie, for sure.
Is that the consensus amongst the whole team as well?
I think that's generally the consensus. It's just much more entertaining. The track scenes are pretty good in it, and like I know that they did some stuff. They tried to make the actor kind of look like Pre when he ran. I mean, it's always hard when you're like simulating like elite level athletes. You're obviously still gonna look a little different, but yeah, Without Limits they did a pretty good job with.
Right, everyone has a different stride, right? That's kind of hard to copy.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, is he considered, a legend over there? Or are you guys just sick of hearing about him?
Yeah, no, he's fully a legend. So they have like Pre's Rock, which is that's where you get Crasher's Call, but there's like a rock that's dedicated to him. So like anytime you go by there, you'll see like people will take their like medals from races or the shoes that they outgrew or whatever, and they'll leave them over there. So it's like a kind of cool memorial thing. The big invitational that's in Oregon is called the Prefontaine Invitational, and you kind of hear about him a lot. I do think there's like a weird. I mean, Pre's amazing and an extremely cool guy. I feel like there's a weird pushback sometimes from guys on the team because you hear so much about Pre that people are like, hey, there's other good runners too.
Exactly. We're here now, And you mentioned the shoes. Obviously, Oregon and Nike have ties. Are you like a Nike loyalist now, but for life? Is it like contractually obligated?
Yeah, but like not because I'm like some brand loyal guy. I genuinely like their shoes. I just think like Nike makes high quality stuff, so it's stuff that I know I like, so it's usually what I get, and it's also like stuff I was wearing for. To go to practice, you had to be wearing Nike gear, and you had to be wearing Oregon colors. That was the rule anytime you were at practice.
Or else there was a fashion police.
Yeah, you just got told to go change, but they gave us so much equipment that like if you struggled to do that, you just weren't listening,
Let's talk about your personal achievements. So you ran the mile, right?
Yeah, it was a 15. So you do the 1,500 meters, which it's 109 meters short of the mile, but it's basically the mile.
Oh, okay. Because I looked up the record for the mile, which is 3:43 for those.
Yeah. So that's my 1,500 time. So that converts. It's equivalent to like a 4-minute mile, like pretty much on the dot.
Oh wow! Was that a big goal of yours to get? Under
Yeah, I would say that's like the biggest regret I have of like decisions I made was my last year running. I was really fit. Like I was definitely in shape that I could have had a chance to break 4 minutes in the mile. And I had finished like my collegiate season, and my coach asked if I wanted to like do a few like races. Like they have a pro circuit up in Canada, and I just decided I wanted to go like to the WSOP and like do graduation instead. And I thought I would like get fit again, and then I never got fit again.
Yeah, that the poker takes over, and then you kind of your focus goes elsewhere. Before we get to how you found poker, I do have a few more track questions. Sorry, okay. I know you probably get this all the time. Let's talk about the Olympic trials. What was that like?
The Olympic trials is such a blast to be at. So, yeah, it's been in Eugene for the last 12 years? I think since 2008 they've put the trials in Eugene. It really is just like, it's like a giant track summer camp. It's like for adults is the way it is. It's like you have the people that are competing trying to make the Olympics, and they're obviously very serious. But then it's like as the event goes on, you get people who are done with their events, they're going out to party, and then everyone else is partying. It's literally just like 2 weeks. You just see like a bunch of ex-track people just having like just getting drunk and having a blast the whole time.
Is there like an Olympic village where everyone hooks up?
I mean, there is a lot of hookups for sure, but it's not quite that. It's more like everyone just has like Airbnbs. So we'll be like track houses. So yeah, the coolest thing like party I've ever been to was at the Olympic trials. Brooks bought out the campus ball, and you had to be like, it was invite only, but everyone that was like, most people there at least knew somebody who was competing in the trials. So like a ton of people got to go, and it was just every drink was free. The ball was private. Brooks paid for everything from like 8 until close or something. It was like the most fun I've ever had at any night.
Yeah, poker's got to step their game up. You got the world killing us over here.
Yeah. We need poker stalls of GG just to buy out one of the balls for a night.
Exactly. All right, now could you beat Usain Bolt in the mile?
Yeah, full shot.
All right, so I think we could definitely say that you're faster than Usain Bolt.
That seems a bit stretch, but in a mile I could. I wonder what the ultimate distance would be, because he'd definitely beat me in a 400. I think in 800 I would have beaten him. Probably like a 600 or something. He'd probably beat me.
You gotta
like
find the line, right?
What?
You got to find the line where he runs out of gas.
Yeah. I mean, he'll start decelerating like at like 200 meters, but he'll be so far ahead it won't really matter.
Yeah, by then you're disheartened and already quit.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how much you want to talk about this, but like Prefontaine, you were in a car accident while you were at Oregon, a near-death experience actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk
Um,
about that?
yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of crazy for like how bad the accident was, how incredibly fine I was. So, like, I got a scratch on my hand and my back was a little sore. I remember like the next day, I like showed up to practice, had the massage therapist walk on my back, and then I went for a run. So, like, I ended up being totally fine. The girl that was in the call with me, she's a long-term friend. I still keep in touch with her. She's from San Diego also. She got so I guess for people who don't know, what happened was we were driving back from San Diego to Oregon, and someone threw a rock off an overpass, and it smashed through the call. She was driving at the time. I think it bounced off the steering wheel because when I saw the call again, the steering wheel was bent in. And then it hit her in the face and knocked her out, and whole foot got stuck on the gas, and I took the wheel and tried to crash it on the side because I figured it'd be better to crash going like 60 than going like 100 or whatever. And then we flipped, we landed perpendicular on the road. I looked up, I saw a semi coming at us, and I was like, well, that sucks. And then the semi actually ended up being a blessing because it like tapped us, but it stopped and put the emergency lights on, so it was like that way calls knew that to get into the other lane. And then yeah, she had to, but she ended up having like bad concussion issues for about a year and had to, for one term, I think she had to unenroll. But she ended up, whole story's incredible. After all that, she ended up getting like fourth in the nation by her senior year in the 10K.
Yeah, after I saw the story, well, first of all, incredible, that you guys made it out. Obviously, she ended up a little worse than you in that spot, but
Yeah.
super quick thinking of you to grab the steering wheel and, guide the car, even though you guys did end up flipping. But yeah, just crazy, crazy story. I looked her up and she's just like still killing it in the long
Yeah,
distance running game.
she just ran like a 2:25 marathon or something. She's probably like she's probably like an underdog to make the Olympics in what would it be 2024, but like definitely still has a shot, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Wow. So obviously, they caught the guy who did it. I'm happy about that. How did that experience change your mentality or anything, your mindset moving
Um,
forward?
I think I mean I think the big thing was like for a little while I was a little bit like I didn't like doing too many things like risky for a little bit, but also I do feel like maybe I like it's hard to remember exactly how things changed. I do remember like being scared when I was like driving at night and stuff. I wasn't a fan of that for a little bit. It took me and like the next time I drove back to San Diego, I made my parents fly up and drive with me just because I was like freaked out. But like I got over that, and then I might have become like a little bit less into running after that. I'm not positive, but I feel like I did like realize that like things could end sooner than I would like.
Yeah. Perspective, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, I was going to ask because it seems like with your poker career, you've always been a big go for it risk taker. So
yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was maybe connected in some way to a carpe diem attitude
It
stemming from the accident.
it might be. I think oddly that actually that might be more connected to track stuff than the accident. Um, I the way my track career finished, I am happy with. Like my final year, I did a really good job and did things I wanted to do, but I had a really good first 2 years of college and a really bad next 2 years where I just like didn't take full advantage of opportunities. I wasn't like wasn't like I was lazy. I was still like showing up to practice and working hard, but I just could have been more mentally locked in. And I think I'll always hold a little bit of regret over doing that. So like I don't want to look back on poker the same way. And to be fair, I've already had situations in poker like where there's been some good game going and I decide to leave or something, and I usually end up regretting that stuff. So I try to not regret not trying or going for something.
All right, since you brought up poker, let's talk about it. You originally found it at a track meet, right?
Yeah,
12-handed
it was the 2012 Olympic trials. I remember there was actually a guy who's still my friend to this day, Matthew Sentrowicz's house. And for anyone who's in the track, that's like a fun little name drop. He won the gold in 2016.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was like me, this guy, Son Mead, him, this kid, Trevor Dunball, I don't know who else. My roommate at the time, this guy, Jeremy Elkheim. Anyways, it was like this whole group of like very elite level runners, and we like played some like $5 home game. I'm pretty sure I got eliminated. Like I had like pocket threes, and it came 2-2-2, and I like put all my money in dead against quads. But I like thought it was fun and interesting. And then there was a cold room in Eugene called Full House Poker. It's 1-2 cash games and tournaments, and it's a membership club that doesn't have rake because you can't like have rake in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And they had this cool tournament. It was called a tag team tournament. So like you would go with your friends. I would go with my roommate at the time, and you got 2 stacks. So like it was $35 entry each, and then every level you had to switch stacks. So like you had to switch with your partner. So it was super fun. Cool. So that was like my first experience playing poker. I'd play that tournament like once a week, and I probably did that for 3 months or something.
Yeah, the story goes that you played that 1-2 game for 4 years.
How was it 4 years? So let's see. I started my junior year, and I played it for like 3 years. I do think I have like one of the largest like big winning 1-2 samples ever.
Yeah, because you're putting in like what?
Played 1-2 as long as I did.
You're playing like 20 hours a week, I'm guessing, so it's like a part-time job.
Yeah, it was. So I would go and play on usually it would be Friday, Saturday. Sometimes I would go during the week, but if I went during the week, so like let's say I went on like a Tuesday, I would go in at like 6 o'clock and leave at like 9 or 10 because I wanted to get sleep. But Friday.
How early did you have to get up to run?
It depended. So I ran 9 times a week when I was in college. So
Damn.
So every Tuesday and Friday I would double. So if I doubled, I needed to get up early because I had to get the run in the morning. So Tuesday and Fridays, I probably got up like 8, but other days I usually probably got up like 10. I was sleeping like 10 or 11 hours a day at that time though.
All right, a reasonable schedule for a college student.
Yeah. But yeah, I would guess I was playing 20 to 25 hours a week of 1-2 for about 2 to 3 years.
So you're crushing that 1-2 game, and then you graduate and you're thinking poker or bust, right?
Yeah. I had decided I wanted to play poker probably like about a year before I graduated. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I thought I could make a lot of money at it. I thought it was fun. So yeah.
And at this point, still no online poker, right?
I mean, I played a little bit on Ignition. I guess it was Bovada at the time. But like, I was very bad. I had like developed a way of playing that I played. It worked well in this 1-2 game, but like also, I was just running like exceptionally good. And like now reflexively, I like crack up at it because if I ran as good now as I ran in like the first 2 or 3 years I played poker, I would literally have like a $10 million month. It'd be like the craziest. But like, yeah, it was just. So I was a little delusional and stuff. So like, I think. I want to say when I graduated, I had built up like I don't know, somewhere between like a 60 to 80K role playing one too. And I went to Vegas and played like 2.5 for 3 months. And I think I was down to like 20. I was down to like 25K within like 2 months.
Wow,
Like
so you were humbled right away.
yeah. And then I kind of swung back and forth for a while. And I remember like,
This was playing at Oceans.
yeah, I played at Oceans. I would play the 1025 game, which I didn't really have the money for, but I would play it, and I would kind of just go back and forth. At some point, I ended up getting staked because I was just I've it's like a weakness of mine, but it's the one thing I've found to address it is like if there's a big game in the room, I just want to play it. So I usually just have to be staked because of that. Otherwise, I'll just play too big.
But isn't that we interviewed you about a year ago, and at that point, you were basically saying that your ambition was to beat the highest stakes games offered.
Yeah, and that's still how I feel, and that's kind of for me. I've always wanted to just beat whatever the biggest toughest game in the room is. I want to be beating it.
So can you tell this story? You're at Oceans and you're bouncing around between 10-20, 20-40, and you're playing a 5-10 game that turned into a 10-25 game.
Oh,
where
dude,
you were
that's
paying a player to go all in.
That's always one of the craziest things. So there was a guy, he had been regularly coming. Regularly is too strong a word. He would come in occasionally. There was actually things he did that was tough, but all that said, he was like the greatest player you could ever dream to play with. Like it was as good a situation as you can get in poker. So I remember I got a text. I was in Vegas. I got a text that like Danny Mann's coming to play. So I go and drive from Vegas to San Diego. I just stop at Oceans. I had a box there at the time. And I get there like, let's say I left at 2. I get there like 6:30. We started the game. The game had 5 players when I got there. Like he had just gotten there. So I got
Oh my God.
And we agree it's gonna be 5-10 with a 5K cap. Which usually the game only had like the 5-10 though normally you can only do a 3K cap, but we like made it a little bigger. And I think we put the straddle on pretty quickly. So it was like 5-10-20. And he like got up like pretty quickly and he like made some joke about I don't even think he was joking. He's just like, I go all in more than anyone. And I was like, I bet you can't get all in like 30 times though. I just like said some random number. He was like, oh, I definitely can. And I was like, all right, every 30 times you end up all in, I'll give you $100. Or maybe I said 15 or something like that. The guy went all in 44 times that session. He won 42. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. He went 5-10. He ran 5K to 105K, I think, or 110K. Like it became 1025 eventually, but it was the most insane run I've ever seen.
And you get felted, right? So you got to go back for more.
Yeah, I got felted a few times. So yeah, I just remember, I think I had like 37K in my box or something like that, and I just literally dumped the box on the table, and I was just like, well, if I go broke here, I think I had like, to be fair, I still had like 5 or 10K left in like a bank account, so like had I lost it, I mean I could go get a real job. I did have a college degree, or I could play 2-3 or something. Like I had options. It wasn't complete zero. Or I could borrow money from a friend. I have one gambling friend who has a funny quote. That's you're only broke if your friends are broke.
That's definitely true in poker, right?
Yeah.
Some of the people you've seen been broke for years still in action 10 years go by.
Yeah, for sure. But either way, it was definitely an irresponsible decision. And I ended up getting 2 payout in against a flush draw for the 37K each, where he literally just open shoved the flop into like a $500 pot. And I called.
It must be nice.
Yeah, it was super nice. I won. I think I ended up losing like 2K on the day or something. Like I was in for like 60K and I cashed out 58K or something. But like winning that pot was still such a big deal because like I think the biggest pot I'd ever played in my life up to that point was like 15K. And I just played like a 70K pot out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, that's the life of a cash game grinder, right? You gotta jump in your car and drive 4 hours occasionally to
Yeah.
get the action.
Oh, for sure. Like spots like that, I think it's tough because like obviously people talk about like you play poker because like oh you get to like have all this freedom or you get to like do this stuff, but like if a spot as good as that comes up, I think you just need to drop everything and just take the opportunity, and whatever happens happens.
Yeah, you're on the clock. No free will there.
Yeah.
Can you tell the story about the 100 200 heads up session where it was a really big shot you took?
Yeah. So that was against Andy Sy, the Live of the Bike guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Andy Stacks.
Yeah, Andy Stacks. He had messaged. He had played two of my friends heads up a little bit, and he messaged me if I wanted to play, and I said yes. We figured it out, like the details. So we played. We agreed. We played at Comos. It was like a 100 200. And I remember. Actually, I think we might have stalled 51. Yeah, I think we stalled 51, and I was down like 45K immediately. And then I got even, and he asked to bump it up, and then we played 1-2, and I won like 80K the first day or something, or like 70K, something like that. We probably played for like 22 hours. I don't know. We played forever.
Oh man.
And then it was like we quit, went to bed, and he was like, all right, do you want to play tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, we'll play tomorrow. And we made some deal about like when we would quit, so it didn't get like too bloody. I don't think either of us were trying to like beat the other guy for like a million or something. We didn't want it to be like, we put the other guy on the street.
Yeah.
So came back the next day and played again. Ran pretty hot and had some big hand I won in like a 3-bet pot where I toned a flush, and I think I won like I won like 60 or 70K or something, and that was like near the spot that we had said we'd like end it. And then I do remember when I ended, he asked if I wanted to flip for all of it. And I was like, I can't do that, man.
Yeah, not after you put in 2 days of work, right?
Yeah, I was like, I just played 40 hours for this. This is like, I was like, I think the biggest win I ever had in my life up to that point was like 35K. I just won 140. Like, I'm not flipping for this.
Man, kudos to Andy for that baller request, though.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, I want to get even. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you.
The pandemic happens, and all of a sudden you're online playing 1K, 2K. What's that about?
Yeah, I mean, I think it looked more all of a sudden to people who don't know me. Like at that point, I'd been playing big live cash for a while. Like I had played like 200, 400 live. I played any time like the 51 man in Comos I would try to play. So like I'd been playing big live cash, and then ACL opened up like the big old no rat hole tables at the beginning of the quarantine. So like I was playing like a bunch of 400 no limit and PLO on ACL to start the year. And like I ran super good in those. And then I got on GG and I was playing a bunch of like the 5Ks and 10K tournaments. And then the 501K game kind of just like appealed. And yeah, I ended up playing it. But like, I think because like a bunch of the stuff I did, like there's no way anyone would have known. It was just like, whoa, this is completely out of nowhere. But like, it was definitely the biggest game, and it's still the biggest game I've ever played. But I guess what I'm saying is like, it wasn't uncommon for me to play 400, so I don't think it's like that crazy for me to play a 501K game.
Would you even have it in you to be able to sit there at 200, 400 if a 1K, 2K game is going on? Like you said, you have to play the biggest game, right?
I mean, I'm not. It depends. Like, no, like if the 1K, 2K game had like an actual fish or something, I would figure out. And like there was a seat open, I'd like talk to someone. But if it was just like Linus McBoyfriend and I don't know, like some random Russian account, I could probably skip it.
Yeah, not worth the mystery.
Yeah.
So we have a question here that we ask: biggest pot you've ever won or lost?
Let's see. The biggest pot I ever won. I'm gonna go with like actual cash game because the biggest pots I ever won or lost are just like ICM tournament spots.
Right.
So,
Well, we haven't gotten to tournaments yet.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest technical pot I've ever lost is definitely just when I bubbled super high rollable. Like, there's no question.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the bubbles. Trust me.
But the biggest cash pot I've won was against Adamo in the 501k game. Tan put on like the button straddle. I opened Queen Jack suited, and so it stalled in the small blind. So I opened it in the small blind. I think it was 501k, and he made it 2k. So I opened to 5k. Adamo made it like 17 in the cutoff. I called. It came Jack 5-5 check. He bet like 20k. I called. The tone was like a 2 check. He bet like potish. So let's say, what is that, like 50, 60k or something I called. Mm-hmm. And then the river was a jack. And there was a missed flush draw. And I led shoved for like 200k. And he snap called with kings. And I won. It was like a 560k pot or something.
Wow.
And then the biggest pot I lost, I'm not sure. So the most memorable big pot I lost is the one where I 4-bet ace 10 and Victor called with 7-2.
Oh, you're talking about where Limitless went runner on you?
Yeah, that's like the most memorable, but I don't think it's the biggest. I think the biggest was actually like the first time I played the 501k 2k. I opened the button with 9-8 off. True Teller called the small. I can't remember who defended the straddle, but they did. It came Queen 6-5, check. I bet like 1/3 pot. True Teller called. Turn was a 4, check. I bet like some reasonably big size, like close to pot or something. True Teller called. River was a queen, check, and I shoved for like 2x pot. So it was like if there was like 100k in the pot, I think there was like 110k in the pot, and I shoved for like 220 or something. And then
big over bet.
Yeah, he tank called with ace queen.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm never getting a fold though. So but it was I think that one was slightly bigger than the one I lost to Limitless. But it was less notable because it was like more normal.
Last time we interviewed you, you said that you wanted to get into the high rollers, and then for the last year, I think you played every single high roller minus one where you got COVID.
Pretty much, yeah.
You cashed for a few million. You finished 9th in our Player of the Year race. You made 22 final tables, and you got a whole bunch of some publicity, right? After being anonymous for a while. What did that feel like?
It was kind of fun. It's not like
you don't get winner photos if a cash game is there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I like winner photos. I really do like the being able to win in tournaments. It's also what makes them so much more frustrating is like you definitively lose. Cash is like really cash. You just like play. I don't know. You win and you lose, but it's kind of like I think it actually is easy to get like it's like one giant session mindset in cash. In tournaments, I cannot get that mindset. Every tournament feels significant.
How do you feel you did last year?
My results, I don't think my results are probably disappointing, like overall, but I think I played pretty well. And
Well, you seem like you were there every single time, right? If
yeah, I
few
was gonna
things
say, like, I think I
right,
played well. I got a lot better as the year went on too. Like, I think my ICM stuff's improved a ton. Um, but like the actual like physical number result wasn't a good year. But I mean, I lost a lot of all ins for massive equity in huge spots, so like it's hard to feel too bad about it.
yeah, let's talk about the bubbles because it seemed like every high roller I watched, it was always down to Chris Brewer on the bubble last
Yeah, it
year.
felt that way too.
You did cash for $3 million, but obviously you put up a ton in buy-ins. There was the stone bubble of the Super High Roller Bowl Europe, which was a 100K buy-in.
Yeah,
Bad beat to Artoy, right?
that one might have been the most painful one.
How is that more painful than the Super High Roller Bowl 300K in Vegas, where I mean that's $1 million bubble. Where you
Yeah, I think.
that bad beat to Bonomo.
Yeah, I mean neither one was fun. I think the thing was is like the 300K, the way it had played out is like I never had a hand for like 2 days on stream, which is fine. And like I got lucky in other ways that people got eliminated and stuff. But it was like I really like it kind of felt like the entire time I was almost not expecting to cash. Like I was like the shortest. And then it played out in a way that worked really well. And then like the last two hands, like so those Sean Wintle shoves the button with fives and beats King Queen, and then the next hand Bonomo shoves 10-3 suited and I lose to Ace Queen. So it was like I lost like 2 all-ins in a row basically.
Exactly.
Which like obviously that was super painful, but I think like it was at least relatively normal. The 100K was so brutal because like one, it turned out I made a mistake in that hand. I went and like looked it up later. I'm supposed to open shove, but like two, his play is like completely ridiculous in the spot as well. So
this was the 9-3, right?
yeah, it was very frustrating because like I just lost this massive equity spot to someone just doing something like kind of insane, and it just like it was frustrating because like I knew I made a mistake. I was like pretty sure that I had made a mistake, which is like a way more frustrating way to lose. Like I was sad about the Super High Rollable. I didn't feel sad about decisions I made, which made it easier to get over.
Got it. Well, you did, get lucky in one bubble. That was against Daniel Negreanu at the $50,000 Poker Players Championship at the World Series of Poker. You actually got him to go on a little bit of a tirade, right?
I don't know. Every time Daniel loses to me, I'm pretty sure I genuinely think like Daniel and I get along great. I think I'm I think I'm probably one of his favorite guys out of the younger guys, but I swear losing to me just sends him off every time. Like I got him to kick the plexiglass down at Venetian.
Oh, that's right. He got so mad you busted him. He stood up on his chair and kicked the plexiglass divider on the table.
I've gotten to yell like shit, fuck, cock like a million times. Yeah, I don't know. I think something about my face when I win just really sets him off.
Oh man, how was that cashing in that event or final tabling?
The 50K was super fun. I had a really I mean, I was losing in that event. I'm not a good mixed player. I had a really small piece of myself. It was kind of just some of my friends wanted to gamble, and it was like I thought it'd be fun. So it wasn't like a big tournament in terms of money, but it was a just really fun experience. A couple of the guys like I had never met before, like that was like my first time meeting Matt Glantz, and he was a pleasure to play with. Paul Volpe and I
mixed crew.
Like Paul Volpe and I kind of became friends throughout that event, which was cool. It was just fun. Like the environment was different than No Limit. Like it's a lot of like old school gamblers too, which is kind of cool.
Right. Are you like now into the mixed game streets? Are you ready for next series?
I'll play some more next series. I don't think I'm ever gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be something I'll be great at. I'm more concerned with trying to win at no limit, and I've been trying to like figure out some short deck stuff because those are Triton series coming up. But I haven't. Mix is tough. It's tough to study, and I think that a lot of the study tools that are out there are kept private. So it's a little tricky.
That's right. That's right. All right, we have some rapid fire questions to close it out if you're ready to go.
Sure.
In terms of watchability, where would you rank distance runners, sprinters, hurdlers, jumpers, and throwers?
Well, I'm gonna throw mid distance as a category too, because like
Okay.
the mile is different than like the 10K.
All right, that's right.
So I think mid distance is the most watchable, 800 mile. Then I think
a little
it's
biased.
a little biased for sure. Then I think it's sprints. Well, actually, the number one watchable event is relays. Like the 4x400 is the best event in track and field.
That's exciting, right?
Yeah.
Anything can go wrong on that handoff.
Yeah, and just like there's something cool about like having a little bit of team stuff to it. So I think relays is actually number one. So relays, mid distance, sprints. Then, I mean, I would say distance. But I think it is close if you're watching in person. Like if you're watching live, seeing someone just chuck the discus or the javelin or shot put when you're actually there is insane. Like you just see, but like when you see it on TV, it doesn't come across the same way because you just like you don't get like the perspective of like how strong the feat they just did is, you know.
Especially with shot put, because I feel like most people haven't picked one up.
Yeah, exactly.
It just looks like a mini bowling ball, you know. But yeah, you know.
Like I was at the Olympic trials this year when Ryan Krauser set like the world record in the shot put, and I would say that was like a easily top 3 moment of the entire trials.
I saw a guy knock himself unconscious trying to do the spin move.
No, that spin move's up. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not joking. I think a lot of the guys do like ballet and yoga because like they need to have like a bunch of balance and flexibility.
Yeah, they gotta spin around on their toes and whatnot.
But I would say in general, probably the distance it goes for the bottom 3. It's distance, jumps, throws. But that's not to be a diss against those. Especially the jumps and throws. I think they can be very exciting. Just they have a lot of downtime, and when they're on TV, I don't think it captures well. Like the long jump on TV doesn't look that impressive, and you see someone actually jump 27 feet in person, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put women's pole vaulting at the number 1 position. Did you ever do that? What's that race where you jump over the hurdle and lands in a big puddle?
Oh, the steeplechase. Yeah, they wanted me to. I was resistant to it.
It seems like a lot of drying your shoes.
Yeah, probably if I had really wanted to pursue like a professional running career, I would have had to become a steeplechaser. It's a wheeled event. It's like the history of it's even strange. It literally came from they would run races where they would jump over like steeples and horse pins.
That
like
sounds a little more dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. We already did biggest pot. What about the best swap or piece you've ever had of anybody?
Best piece. Oh, the best piece I had is I had a piece of Andrew Moreno when he won the Win 10K for like 1.4 million.
Awesome. My good buddy Andrew. I've known Andrew for
more
than a decade.
Andrew's from San Diego. I've known him. Him and Christy are just A+ people, so that was awesome. It was fun to have a piece of it. It was fun just to be there when he won. I think that's by far the best like piece moment for me.
Shout out to Christy and Amo, and also their little Mo.
Yeah.
Born a few months back.
Yeah.
All right. Who's the best player we've never heard of? You know, because for years, you know, you flew under the radar. Who's somebody you could shout out now?
He's gonna be mad at me for shouting him out, but I'm trying to think if I agree with it. So I mean, I'm a little biased because it's like my friend who I studied with a bunch, but I think it's a guy, Tim Noodle. He doesn't even really play much anymore though. He got a job, but he played all the big stuff on GG. Like he played the 501k game, and I don't even think people realize he played it.
Damn. He went from that to a job. I mean, yeah, he cashed out.
Yeah, I think he had a good opportunity. But he's like the person who helped me like get better at poker the most out of anyone by far. So
Awesome. Shout out to Tim Noodle, you said?
Nuter.
Oh, okay. Tim Neuter.
Yep.
What was your largest non-poker wager? I see you've been placing some sports
The
bets.
election this year for sure.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had a lot on Biden, and I got a lot like post-election too.
Nice.
So,
It's always nice to win when you know it's locked up after the fact.
yeah, no, one of the weirdest ones I had was like a week before the inauguration. A guy who's like a good gambler, someone had convinced him that like Trump was gonna overthrow Biden on inauguration day, and he had bet like a ton on Biden, and he wanted to hedge, so he like hedged with me. Like it was literally the equivalent. I mean, it's amazing. He made the bet, and he sent me a wire 3 days later.
What a dream spot.
Yeah.
Right now, like 3% of my audience is furiously punching their steering wheel.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, some people are definitely mad or saying like, I should have lost these bets or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's the biggest.
I saw you lost a little bit on the actual main event this year, right?
Yeah, I guess that's the biggest loss I've had in a non-poker game gambling. Yeah,
even though it was on poker.
That was a pretty insane scenario. Like, well, what ended up being the most ridiculous was I did a bunch of the the bets that were just with people. So there was like 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 on like they have to cash full this amount. But then I gave one friend. I have like a friend who I do a bunch of sports. Like him and I just like will flip on games all the time and stuff. And he was like down to me. So I kind of just did it. So like I was like, okay, sure, you can gamble on this thing. He got to choose 50 players and do a 1% crossbook. And then one of the players he chose was Corey Adamille. So I lost a solid 80K on that.
Brutal. Yeah, so for those that don't follow your Twitter, and you should, by the way, Chris D. Brewer, you basically allowed somebody to pick 50 guys, and they had to cash collectively under a certain amount.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the players they selected was the eventual main event champion.
Yeah, they a lot of the way that I put a reasonable amount of thought into the way the bet was structured, especially like after. So I think what I did is I did even odds at like if you picked 50 people, they had to cash for 750, and then I gave 2-to-1 if they cashed 4 million. So if you're betting on like cash for 750, I think it's equivalent to betting on like 150% ROI, and betting on like the cash for $1 million was equivalent to betting on like 300-something% ROI, because the way the charts like skew is most of the time you just have a bunch of losses, and then sometimes you get the guy that wins the main event.
Right. You have to play this bet 50 years in a row for it to work out.
Yeah, but yeah, like if they don't pick a player that if out of the 50 people they pick, no one final tables, they basically won't win. They really need someone to final table. But
yeah, it seemed like a good spot for you. Sorry it didn't work out. Okay. If you could pick the entertainment for the Super Bowl halftime show, what would you choose?
Dude, I'm actually pretty excited about this halftime show right now.
You could also pick distance running.
No way. This actual halftime show they have seems amazing. It's like Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Dr. Dre.
You're the second person who's brought it up the hype for it. Everyone seems really excited for it.
I mean, I grew up like in high school, I probably listened to Eminem like 85% of the time I drove in the car. So I don't
we have a
really listen to
question
it anymore,
here.
but I'm still excited for the show.
We have a question here. What's your favorite album or artist?
I mean, my favorite album, like historically that I listened to, had to be like I guess it's like a greatest hit, but they had the Colton Call one, and then I liked what was Eminem's second comeback? So there was like Relapse, and then was it Recovery?
One of the R's.
Yeah, one of those. The second one that came out when he made his comeback, I was a big fan of when I was in high school. And then
Right.
now I don't even know. Now I literally don't even know what album I'm listening to. 'Cause I'm just on Spotify and put stuff on shuffle.
Would you like people to call you Slim Shady at the table?
Please no. This is good.
Do you have any nicknames?
No, everyone just calls me by my last name, which has happened to me since I've been in high school. I've always been like Brewer. I don't know why, but yeah.
Do you have a celebrity doppelganger, or have people ever told you look like somebody growing up?
When I was growing up, they used to tell me I looked like Colin Creevy from Harry Potter, which isn't the most flattering. I
You're
don't.
out of the Potter phase, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I have any that I can think of now.
Let's see here. Favorite movie?
Uh, Probably either Fight Club or Ocean's 11
Oh.
or Raiders of the Lost Ark. One of those three.
I was about to say, is the third one going to be a Brad Pitt movie?
I do love Brad Pitt. I do. Harrison Ford and Brad Pitt are definitely my two favorite actors.
There you go. I don't know if you ever had a job before poker, but we asked that question. What was the worst job you had before poker?
Only thing I ever did, I would be a camp counselor for some summer running camps. It was a fun job.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd go up to Big Bale for a week. It would be me and a bunch of other college kids counseling, like a bunch of high school kids. They would look up to you a ton because like you ran in college. Like you got to feel cool for a week and you just got to hang out with kids. Then you'd have like the one night all the counselors sneak away and drink. It was fun.
Do you have a home remedy for shin splints?
You gotta try to massage your calves is the big thing. So like shin splints come from your calves get tight and they pull on your shin. So you use like the foam roller and you just get in there and just try to break up the skull tissue as much as possible.
I would have been massaging my shins like an idiot. That's
never
advice.
massage the shin. That's just very painful.
What is a talent you don't have that you wish you did?
Anything musical. So both my sisters were like high level dancers, and my older sister cheered at UCLA, and my middle sister cheered at Cal. So like they both have like music ability, and then I had just got none of it.
Can you dance?
Can't sing.
No?
Can't do anything. I can't hold rhythm.
Are you superstitious at all?
No, but like sometimes I swear I know some. Like I'm not. Like I don't actually make any decision off superstition, but I will swear to God there are times I'm all in that I am positive I have lost. But like it doesn't. I'm not actually superstitious. Like I don't change any decision because of it.
I think that's just called pessimism.
Yeah, I might just be have like trauma and big moments.
Yeah, if you're all in on the bubble and you know you're
No,
dead,
like,
that's a problem.
I did not think I was beating Bonomo when I saw his hand. I was so sure that Justin Bonomo at a 300K against me on the bubble, he's like an 85% there.
Yeah, and of course he rivers a flush to make it even more painful.
Yeah.
All right. What are you interested in that most people aren't?
Any
weird hobbies?
I feel like most of my interests like are reasonably common. Like I like anime stuff, but like there's a reasonable amount of people that are into anime. I like stock market investing stuff, but obviously that's pretty common. Oh, actually, I've been getting into bowling lately. There's a bowling alley across the street from where I live. I bowled a 230. I was very happy about that.
Really?
Yeah.
My record's only 211.
Still pretty good. That was the only time I've ever broken 200. My next highest score is 180. So.
Are you a straight down the middle bowler, or do you have
No,
a nice hook to
I
it?
went and bought a ball. I spin it.
Okay, so you got it weighted properly and everything.
Yeah, it was well this summer I was going a bunch with do you know who like Tyler Cornell and Taylor Paul?
Yes, Tyler Cornell and was Brainwash online, I believe.
Yeah, he was brainwashed.
And Taylor Parr won our online player of the year race actually 10 years ago.
Yeah, so it was the three of us and Paul Volpe. We were going bowling like 3 times a week, pretty much the whole series. So
No, Paul, geez. Yeah, there's some good bowlers in the poker world.
dude, Taylor is so good. He bowls like 210 like every game.
Mr. Consistency over there, huh?
It's insane. That guy might be the most naturally good at things I've ever seen. I think he's like a 3 handicap in golf too.
Oh, that's just upsetting.
Yeah. He's just like a sick athlete.
How do you stack your chips, and what does it say about you?
I'm bowling just 20 stacks. They're all messy. I don't have the cleanest stacks, so I guess I put them in play, but it's all 20 stacks. I need to know how many chips I have at all times.
Can somebody tilt you with how they stack their chips?
If I can't count it, I don't like it. I'm not gonna name them, but there's a few people who they very intentionally put those stacks in ways that you will underestimate or overestimate the amount they have, and I don't like that. I think that's like not part of the game.
Yeah. What about your longest session ever?
Longest session ever. I think it's about somewhere in the 30 to 40 hours. It was with the same guy from the story, but where I played 5-10, but this time it was just a 10-25 session that I just won every pot for a day and a half.
Yeah, well,
It's fun.
He was nice enough to stick around.
Oh yeah, no, he probably won. That was a crazy thing. He probably won 300K playing 10-25 in a month, and then he probably lost 500 the next month or something like that. It was a wild 2 months.
The poker world giveth and taketh away.
Yeah.
Do you like telling people that you're a pro poker player?
I'm pretty indifferent to it. I think I'm okay in more casual spots. For like, if it's something like kind of serious, like if I'm like meeting my girlfriend's parents or something, it's not the most fun thing to say.
That's right.
You have to try to like, explain to them that you're not like, you're not like in debt or gonna like get attacked by loan sharks or something.
Yeah, you have to be like, here, Google me. There's pictures of me online with trophies now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hey, here's a photo of me winning.
Do you have a nemesis, somebody that you can't beat, or somebody who has always held over you? Obviously, Negreanu would say you.
Negreanu's actually ran good against me, but he's not my nemesis. I'm trying to think. I mean, I feel like most people I've like beaten in some spot. Like I've been lucky against them at some point.
That's
but
good
like,
if no one comes to mind.
Actually, recently Nicky P has just destroyed me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean him and I.
Mr. Petrangelo.
Yeah, there was we played a 100K. That was like a random one. Like there was no publicity to it or anything. And him and I, he like in back-to-back hands. It was like he won King 10 against Ace 10 on the bubble. And then him and I were 1-2 in chips. I was the chip leader. And I had aces and it came 8-4-2. And he check shoved King 8 and then beat me. And like back-to-back. And then since then I've never beaten him in the hand.
Yeah, he got the better of you in this. Oh, actually, congrats on surviving a couple bubbles this year so far.
Yeah, I survived the 50K bubble. That was a big one. He still got me though.
He won.
I haven't beat Nick in a while.
Yeah. Well, ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
If you could call up anyone in the world and have a 1-hour conversation, who would you call?
Who would I? I think I'd probably go with like Obama or Biden, even Trump. I think anyone who's like I mean, I wouldn't do Trump. That'd be awful. Like Obama, Biden.
He
I
might
would
tell you more
do-
secrets though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I would do like even like Putin or something. I think anyone that's like a big political leader, if you could have an actual conversation with them, would be like incredibly fascinating.
Especially if they were forced to tell the truth and answer
Yeah,
everything you said
yeah,
or
exactly.
asked.
Like I've always I've I've always thought like specifically when it comes to like foreign policy stuff, it's really hard to like have much of an opinion because I'm sure there's just a lot of information you just don't know if you're not in office. So it'd be interesting to hear about some decisions.
Right, like what are the secret, well, not even secret, but just like the the things we're not thinking about that they're looking down the line, the
Yeah,
repercussions and stuff, if you do X, then Y, then Z. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be, you'd be the most powerful people on earth if you can have just a 1 hour honest conversation with
yeah, for
somebody like
sure.
that.
It'd just be I think either like that, like um yeah, I think that'd be more interesting than talking like I don't want to talk to like Jeff Bezos, but I'm sure he would have some interesting stuff too.
Do you have a favorite movie or gambling movie if you want to narrow it down?
I mean, Ocean's 11 is just I think is the pinnacle of like gambling movies.
Oh, that's right.
Obviously
Yeah,
it's heist.
that already is a gambling movie.
Yeah.
It's a
Uh,
heist gambling movie, right?
yeah, I mean, if we're talking like true gambling, I think Casino is probably the number one.
There you go. Well,
Uh,
kudos to you for not saying Rounders like everyone else.
yeah, I mean, I like Roundels. I don't think I've never quite fully gotten the hype. I think it's fine.
What about your biggest pet peeve at the table?
Uh, I hate my biggest pet peeve by far is like when people are clearly pandering. It drives me nuts. And like you see it a ton and like in big live cash you see it so much. Some guy sits down that's like good for the game and he'll tell some like terrible joke. Like it's just like incredibly like offensive and not funny. And you'll see someone cracking up at it as if Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David just walked in.
Right.
And I hate it. I'm like you can be nice to these people. You can like I obviously want to create a good environment. But like when it's excessively fake too, like I always think to myself, I'm like, these guys must know. Like these guys are like big successful people. Like no way they enjoy just getting like a fake conversation.
I think they always know.
Yeah.
They always know. And it also lets them know, oh shit, I'm the mark here. 'Cause
Yeah,
they want to
exactly.
keep
Like,
me around.
There's
But
obviously some balance. Like you.
there are
have to be
some
nicer, but
guys with an ego that do like it, even though they know, they're just like, yeah, please laugh at my stuff.
those for sure. Those for sure the sociopaths that like
Yeah.
I've played with, and like the entire thing that they go there for is let you know that they lose a bunch and they can treat you like shit. You know, it's like, okay, sure, I guess that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the line? Especially
Yeah.
when it comes to like abusive players who are losing but also tip well.
Oh yeah, no, I played with a guy who was like this guy was like truly out of his mind. Like I remember like losing a pot to him and when him standing up and like calling me like his bitch that he like fucks on the side of the street, like just like insane shit. Like I can't believe he's saying to me. And then like I've seen him like win pots and like, but he's like tipping the deals like absurd and like I never called the floor on him, but like other people would get mad and they would like call the floor, and as the floor was coming over, he would literally take like black $100 chips and just start throwing them at the floor as the guy was walking over, and the floor would just catch them and then walk away. It was like the funniest thing I ever saw.
Exactly. These people, it's a tough situation because
Yeah.
they essentially do get to pay to act terrible.
Yeah. And I was always like, I was never mad at the floor. I was like, you should do that. Like, good for you.
Right, and the same thing with the deal. Like when they say something rude to the dealer, you're like, well, she probably likes the fact that she just got thrown $200.
Yeah, exactly. Like the
and you also don't want to ruin it for the other players at the table who want to get this guy's money.
yeah. Most of the time, I would say when people are acting like that and they're tipping and losing, it's tolerable. There's been a few situations where like I've seen it get out of line where there's just like something has to be said or done. There's like nothing you can do.
Yeah, of course.
But those are pretty unique, but they do happen.
Do you have a bold prediction for poker's future?
I'm probably a little bearish on cash stuff, but I think it's already happened. I think cash is just. I think playing above 510 in a casino in like 10 years is just not going to be an option, really.
Oh.
Well, let me rephrase it. You'll be allowed to play, but you're going to have to know the game rental.
Oh, you mean not an option profitably?
I just think it's all going to be private. It's going to be super It's going to be unbelievably profitable for the people that get to play the private games, but the people that will play, there's going to be like a lot of shady dealings in it. But I think that's already happened. Like in Vegas, you cannot play above 25-50 if you're not outside of a private game.
Right. We end the podcast the same way every time with a question from the random question generator.
All right.
Here we go. If you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be? Boy, that is random.
That is extremely random. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a vegetable that doesn't get eaten. I'm trying to survive here.
You see, now that says a lot about you, that you're thinking strategically in this question.
Yeah, like
what is
that no one likes?
The least appetizing vegetable. But you also want one with a good shelf life, right? You don't want to be like a moldy potato after a week.
Yeah. I'm Googling least appetizing vegetable. Let's get my answer here. Your least favorite vegetables from the Food Network. Too many. I think turnip. Maybe a turnip. Ooh, I could be a really hot pepper, like a ghost pepper. Like, how many people really want to eat that?
That's awesome. Because even if you do go down, at least you go down taking something with you.
I'm taking them with me.
Chris, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing the stories.
All right. Talk to you later.
That's it. That is the show. Thank you once again to Chris. You can follow him on Twitter at Chris D. Brewer. That's Chris_D_Brewer. Or on Instagram at CBrewer4893 if you want to see some shots of him from his running days or his Pac-12 championship ring. You can follow us on Twitter at CardPlayerMedia. And don't forget to subscribe to Poker Stories if you haven't already done so. Consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review, and we will say thanks with a free digital subscription to Card Player Magazine. Just let us know you did so with an email to pokerstories@cardplayer.com. Thanks for listening.